Yeah, back to Alaska. We love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our military, they're important. We love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our military, they're important. And when I'm in the jam, I know that I can call up the man, with the plan. When I'm on the run, all I gotta do is dial 911. We love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our military, they're important. We love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our military, they're important. And when I'm in a jam, I know that I can call up the man, with the plan. When I'm on the run, all I gotta do is dial 911. We love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our veterans, they're important. We love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our veterans, they're important. And when they're out at war, you know I appreciate them more, Thank you, Lord, when they keep us safe, You know they make America a better place. We love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our military, they're important. We love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our military, they're important. When I'm in a jam, I know that I can call up the man, with the plan. When I'm on the run, all I gotta do is dial 911. 911. Thank you for your service. Yes.
Like I should have done more research before doing this. Like I was gonna brush up on some topics beforehand, but I pretty much pissed yesterday away. So
Yeah, I was working, so I wasn't. And then sometimes I feel like I really have nothing to say because everything I've learned.
yeah, I feel that way sometimes too.
Yeah, here's the thing: is
I'm just getting boring as I get old, which I think is actually true. But
well, I guess that explains a lot for everyone, right? But you know what? The thing is, for me, everything I learn is from a podcast or a TV show. So it's why would they listen to why would they listen to my podcast?
Just go listen to the other podcast.
Yeah, listen to an NPR. What's their one? Radio Lab. Just listen to Radio Lab.
Well, people love meta commentaries, so
that is true. On
it's
YouTube,
dude, people watch other people play video games, so that's a huge thing. People make millions on that, which is insane because you can just go play the video game. But I understand it. It's fun to watch.
Some streamers are pretty cool though. You ever seen Destiny before?
The game or the person?
The person.
No, I have not.
He's a streamer and he's kind of he's a liberal pretty much. He he thinks markets are okay, but he's not a complete shithead, and he argues with he has an argument with Sargon of Akkad.
Oh God,
it's 2.5 hours long.
Well, of course.
And then there's some real idiots, some real idiots get on there too, and they defend Sargon or JonTron.
God.
Went on
it's the fucking rogues gallery of YouTube video game reactionaries.
Well, this is what put him on the map, really, was this Destiny debate where he was basically by the end of that going well, sooner or later, blacks start entering the gene pool and and Destiny's whoa, what are you saying? You should check that it's not a podcast, but you should check that out on YouTube. It's pretty hilarious. He has a few good ones. But he plays League of Legends. That game's fun. You still there? Hello? Jesse?
All right.
What's up?
Oh, not much. The power went out like briefly, so I lost Wi-Fi.
Jesus Christ, I thought it was like Starship Troopers and the bugs sent an asteroid to him it.
Yeah.
The only good bug is a dead bug.
Yeah.
I'm from him it, and I say kill them all.
Just the JonTron fan club just came in. I got like swatted.
That would be a funny thing to do to someone you hated.
Yeah, it's crazy how that's like real.
It is not hard to get a SWAT team on your fucking house, which means your dog,
and you. Like, because police overreact to everything. So, like, basically you just call 911 for any reason, and you'll get a SWAT team down there. Unless you're trying to get someone to help you, that won't work.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you really need help, you should say, I'm going to kill everyone at, your address.
Yeah. No, yeah, like, someone breaks into your house, it's like, well, whatever.
But that is a funny thing to do to a streamer, because you can see it. It wouldn't be.
It's so fucked up, though.
I know, they could get killed, their dogs. I've had SWAT teams run up on my house.
Oh, yeah. No, you told me about that.
Yeah, my brother, his wife, her mom, she took her car to cash bogus checks, and the cops followed the car back to our house where his girlfriend was living. And about 7 a.m., I had good thing I had been up all night playing video games. I heard all the crunching, like all the jack boots crunching on the rocks on our lawn. And I looked out the window. I was like, oh fuck. Bunch of stormtroopers are out there. They're all in their fucking full RoboCop gear.
For like
check fraud.
Bounce check. God, that's insane.
For about $3,000. They had like MP5s and M4s, not M16s, military M4s, and guess what? And they didn't find shit. They threw our house upside down. They didn't find anything. They fucking drug us outside. And, well, they didn't drug us outside. We got out. Like, everyone got dressed because they were about to knock down our door. And, little Sam woke up with, like, a machine gun pointed in his face. He was just sleeping on the couch.
That'll fuck a kid up.
Yeah, that'll fuck a kid up. So, I mean, it's just, and, they didn't find shit. I mean, it was and fucked up thing to do to your daughter. Because the thing is about that crime, you have to be so fucking out of it to do it. Because you're going to get caught. So you just think, I'll get $1,000, get, a shitload of drugs, do them, get caught. I just don't, I don't know.
What was I going to say?
So I guess getting swatted isn't fun. So
no,
yeah,
it sucks. But,
America.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty much as long as you're not a black church, there'll be a SWAT team there to help you. Because,
what was I going to say?
Dylan.
Oh yeah, I just had a quick thing on like check fraud, or just like fraud in general. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it for hundreds of millions of dollars. Like that's how you get away with it.
Pretty
much. Go big or go home. What's that saying where it's like if you're in like a little debt, the bank owns you. If you're in like a lot of debt, you own the bank.
Yeah, that was
pretty much true.
That was the situation in World War I. That's why it kept going. So the English had to win.
Anyway, did you hear about PewDiePie? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah. So this is his.
He just like keeps throwing stuff out there, and I don't really like give a shit. It's just like funny, because the dude has more followers on YouTube than, or close to it, like as many followers as Mark Zuckerberg does on Facebook.
Jesus. Well, here's the deal. He's done this similar thing before.
Yeah.
So this is, I think he has like this North Korea type marketing strategy where he says something horrible, he apologizes, but during the ensuing shitstorm, he'll get like another 500 million subscribers from like China,
Oh, out of curiosity, why are Chinese people interested in PewDiePie?
I'm just.
Well,
saying,
I guess certain
people
people everywhere are, but
because Richard Spencer bought a bunch of bots to add subscribers to PewDiePie's because it's good for the movement.
Is that a real thing? Or...
No.
Oh, okay.
I just thought it'd be funny.
I mean, it sounds plausible, so I don't
That's
know.
another funny thing about North Korea, because you hear all kinds of crazy shit, and then you don't really know what's true because it's all believable.
That's true about a lot of things these days, though.
Yeah,
It's hard to gauge like what is actually like real or not. But I gotta think like it's probably always been like that. We've just deluded ourselves like before into thinking like a certain narrative was true because there's nobody challenging it.
I guess there's always been like conspiracy theories and stuff. Like this is why like pogroms and stuff would happen and witch burnings and.
Yeah, that's true. Is that like buzzing sound coming from my side? I think it might be. I don't know if I can do anything about it though.
I don't.
If I. No, it doesn't help.
No, that's what you get for going with analog, folks. Or I don't know. Jesse has musical equipment, so I'm gonna assume that it's like.
I do. This isn't my condenser mic. This is just like a shitty dynamic mic. Like I thought about getting the condenser out, but it picks up stuff from like so far away that it would suck. Like I'd catch like the people like behind my house blasting their shitty hip hop. I'd catch people doing like
peeling out in their truck.
There's always somebody like hammering something. Have you noticed that? Just like any time of day, no matter where you are, just like in a suburb, there's always somebody hammering something.
Yeah, you know, I work in a lot of like rich neighborhoods when I go out in installs because only stupid rich people buy the things that I work at, like the products. And so I go into these mansions all the time, and every time in these horrible like Brentwood and Bel Air and the Hills, these narrow ass streets, and people are street parked on them. And there's always a house. There's always like a $5 million renovation happening on every single neighborhood. So if you're like a millionaire and you get like a house in Brentwood and you think you're gonna be all baller, well, you're gonna have to look at a porta potty for like the next 5 years as they renovate. And there's going to be construction stuff going all day, and they'll have the whole area fenced off because it's in LA, because they don't want poor people getting in there and jacking shit.
Right.
So it's just this big fucking eyesore in the whole neighborhood. Like even in these Malibu ocean view mansions, there's a mansion next door it's been completely gutted and it's being like redone, and there's porta potties on the street. And there's like no grass in the yard. It's just dirt and it's all dusty. They have like a tractor driving. It's so stupid being rich.
Yeah, especially like getting a place on the beach, and like they're always trying to like keep the pores off of their beach, even though like I'm pretty sure you can't actually own beach in California. Like you can have a house like by the beach, but there's always people putting up like signs.
Private beach.
Like private beach, but like that's not a thing.
I
mean, they're like constantly devoting like energy into just like trying to keep poor people off the beach. Like, why would you want to do that? That just sounds shitty.
Ruins your view, man.
Oh man.
Oh god, I was in where was it? It was very close to the beach. I can't remember the exact place. It was by Topanga Canyon, or well, someplace like Redondo Beach or Seal Beach, And they had like this, it was an official sign. It says, "Do not give money to panhandlers. You are contributing to our alcohol, drug, and tobacco problem."
Yeah, I've seen those other places before too.
That's, man. I mean,
that's fucked.
I mean, panhandlers are kind of annoying, but.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know. Like, you'd have to be in a sad spot to be doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
No matter what, even if it is like you treat it like it's your job.
But yeah, no, there's something like extra fucked up about having like an official sign that's like, well, just don't look them in the eye.
And they'll just move on.
It's like the do not feed animal signs at the park, where it's like the squirrel biting the hand. Except it's like about just other people. It's pretty fucked up.
It's dehumanizing.
Yeah.
God. I was in this Jordan Peterson group, and this liberal.
I actually have very limited knowledge of him, other than like he's cropped up just in the on the periphery of my awareness a couple times. as just like a dude. He's kind of just like he's like somewhere between like a Sam Harris and like a Richard Spencer kind of figure.
At this point, like
except just like an idiot. Actually, Sam Harris is an idiot too, but
he's not. I don't know. Like some of the stuff he says, it's kind of trippy. He's interesting to look for. I've listened to him. Not Sam Harris, but Jordan Peterson.
Oh, okay.
But the problem with Jordan Peterson is that he's sharing space with with Richard Spencer, and he thinks the like Kekistan and these 4chaners, oh, they're just it's just a joke, haha, and I don't think he's aware fully of what he's dealing with here. And he'll say some kind of like trippy, like Jungian psychology stuff, and it connects in weird ways. But it's kind of just like horoscope at the end of the day.
What was his thing again? He's like an Evo site guy or something.
I believe so, and he does.
Which is like that's a field that's mostly bullshit. I mean, like within psychology, it's like it's a very marginal thing.
Well, I think the problem with him is like he was kind of okay before he dug his heels in about this bill, like this Canadian, if you misgender someone, or if you, like, he thinks.
I haven't heard about this.
Oh, you haven't heard about this?
No.
Well, this is the hill. This is why he's famous. Because before he was just a regular kind of professor. He wasn't really that reactionary. Like on one podcast, he said he'd done a whole bunch of LSD in the 60s, which I think explains a lot.
I mean, like, sometimes that doesn't help people.
Well,
like, you can take like a bunch of acid and still like end up just like a fucked up asshole.
Yeah, I mean, like, his series is called Maps of Meaning.
I mean, that's cool. That's a cool name. I don't know.
It's cool. He is like when he talks about like how like meaning of like these symbols repeat in different human stuff. That's cool. That's why I liked him. But he totally thinks, and this is like where it kind of like the spell breaks, is if he says if you force him to call someone by their mate, just to call them they. Instead of him or her. He's like, well, you don't just deserve that out of the box. Like, but he's like a doctor. Everyone wants to, like, people call him teacher or Mr. Peterson. Like, I don't know why, but he thinks it's this big slight that he'd have to be forced by law, if this one bill passed, to have to gender someone correctly. That he might actually face real legal repercussions if he insists on misgendering, someone that is.
Well, and that's within his capacity as a doctor that applies.
But he's not like a doctor.
I'm confused about like. Oh, okay. I'm confused about like who the law applies to.
Well, it's like it's like it's like a discrimination law. He's just upset. Well, here's the rub. He's upset because of. Because it says in one part if you misgender someone. But the point of the law is to give trans people the same kind of legal protection that people of color get under the law.
Okay, so this is like trying to like reduce like hostile work environment kind of stuff?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So, they can get hired and someone's not like, they're a trans person. I don't want my kid catching that. I don't want to touch them.
Okay.
Hired. That sort of thing. And if your boss, continuously dead names you or something, you actually have a legal repercussion instead of just being told to deal with it. That kind of shit. But because, and here's where it gets funny, but because that type of violation, that leftist violation of his free speech, that he might have to refer to someone as they'd want to be referred to as. That is Marxist, and that will read the Gulag Archipelago, and that's all you need to know about Marxism and socialism. So it's basically he has like a grandpa idea about like the left, and
okay, it's always I think like anytime somebody brings like Marx into kind of fringe like cultural issues, it's just like really weird to me.
Because he's a boogeyman, and you can use him to scare grandmas.
Yeah, it's just like he didn't write very much about this stuff though.
Yeah,
Like, Capital is just like this 1,000-page long, dense like tome on like economics.
well, but you know, it scares like people because
Yeah, like Ingalls on the other hand, he wrote that book. What is it, like the origins of like family in the state or something? I haven't actually read it, but I hear it's like
I
pretty
haven't
intense.
actually heard about it because like I'm a scrub when it comes to this sort of shit.
Yeah, I've been meaning to read a bunch of stuff. I actually got like a couple books recently, like some of the books, like some of the first books I've bought in a while, just because I've been like super broke. But I had like a $50 worth of Amazon gift card points
Nice.
that have just been like sitting there for a long time, and then I remembered them because I was like buying somebody a birthday present, so I'm like, oh, I should just use that then. But then I also like bought some books in the process.
You get
But
free
yeah, one of
shipping.
them is I didn't get free shipping because they're from like different sources, right?
Oh.
Yeah, like Amazon's gotten like super shitty about like what they'll ship for free now.
Yeah, only thing I like about Amazon, good return policy. They'll just
I've never returned anything to them, so
if you
haven't
keep
dealt with
bitching, they'll just give you your money and they'll let you keep the thing and they'll send you another one. Really.
okay. I mean,
They-
I guess that makes sense considering
just-
like
they
how much
just-
money they have.
Yeah, I guess it's just easier just to squash it.
Yeah, but I got this book called The Great Transformation by Karl Polanyi. He's like this post-World War II economist. Like the book's from 1948, I think.
Okay, that's
But
an
it's a-
interesting time.
It's about like how like the Industrial Revolution transformed like society itself into one in line with kind of the principles of the market.
Oh, jeez.
But I have not started reading it yet, so
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
I used to buy books compulsively because.
Oh yeah, so did I.
But
Well, I used to actually read them, so.
Well, here's my
Okay.
thing. I keep buying them and stacking them up, and I have like a whole bunch of awesome books to read, but I just, it's like some sort of moron. I just have all kind. Let's see, I got something called the Hitler book.
It's just called the Hitler book.
Yeah. Um,
Is it about Hitler by any chance?
you know what? Yeah. I got something called Pimp by Iceberg Slim. That is a great book. I've read a bit of that. It's really good.
I'm
about
curious about that. Tell me more about that.
It's about a guy who was like a pimp in the 30s. He's a black guy. And that horrible underworld and how it completely like consumed his whole life. He has a whole bunch of books. They're very riveting. Like the first chapter made like by the end of it I was crying.
That sounds great. Like
Pimp, Iceberg
talk
Slim.
about like just how like it turns him into just like
Oh yeah.
just a miserable.
It's like the
Like
Heart of
shitty-
Darkness.
Oh yeah,
but
that
it's
sounds
like-
good.
But it's not gonna put you to sleep.
I've never read Heart of Darkness. I mean, like I figure I've watched Apocalypse Now, and that's close enough.
I've read like sections of it for like in high school, and even my teacher is like, Levi, can you help Haley? I cannot get through this. And I had already I got through it, and I had to like help someone. I thought it was kind of cool, but
I mean, it sounds because Apocalypse Now is cool. So
well. It's I think it's like one of those things you kind of had to like be born at the time to like really get into it, because like back in the day, no one knew shit about Africa when like Rudyard Kipling was exploring it. So when you can just find out anything about it, and it's this whole fucking book, it must be like amazing. Because yeah, I don't know. Sorry for killing the conversation there.
I thought you had more to say. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh. Wow.
On Heart of Darkness.
I
But I
just,
haven't read it, so.
I read bits of. I don't remember shit about
So-
it. And I have a whole. Excuse me, I've been drinking. Let's see. I also have Cloud Atlas, but that's not mine. I have American.
I don't
Dog.
even know. I don't know what Cloud Atlas is. Like I know it was made into a movie. I don't know anything about it.
It's a weird, funny like movie, but it has all kinds of blackface in it. So
Wait, the movie does?
kinda, yeah.
Damn.
Because it's about reincarnation.
Wait, so hang on. They got like white actors reincarnated just with like the same actors but with blackface?
Yeah, a couple of them. I think Tom Hanks does it. I think. And the scary guy, the scary criminal from Fargo, he does trans face. You know,
I can't remember who.
The big Swedish guy, and he puts fucking Steve Buscemi through the fucking wood chipper.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he plays a woman in one of his life, but it's good makeup. So I don't know. I actually didn't think it was a bad movie. I just thought it was a goofy ass movie.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's not the worst thing a movie can be. So.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty cool. Like,
I haven't seen a movie like in theaters since that last Star Wars movie.
Oh really? Dude,
yeah.
I saw Kong Skull Island in theaters, and I was.
Oh, I heard that was actually like pretty good.
It was really good. It was a big.
It's like anti-militarist.
Kinda. It's a commentary on Vietnam, and it's like a Moby Dick, which is kind of like Vietnam is like Moby Dick.
That's cool.
Yeah, I wonder if who started to. I wonder if some. I was thinking like if some like general really liked Moby Dick, so he wanted to like base a war off of it. You know, like he's like an avant-garde general. Like
war is his kind of canvas.
Yes.
Oh shit! Have you ever read anything by Don DeLillo?
No.
He wrote that book White Noise, which is a good book. That's the only thing I've read by him. But he has this other book that he wrote more recently. But like the premise is that like it's like in America in the near future, but like the last remaining art form is terrorism.
What is this book called?
I'm trying to find it right now. God, what is that book called?
You know what? Terrorism did become like an art form.
I mean, kind of like under like ISIS, definitely.
And
they have like a whole refined aesthetic to go along with it. They got a magazine.
They're like
super
the black,
sleek magazine.
Have you ever seen those blacked.com webms?
No. Wait, what? What is this?
Oh, you don't go on 4chan. People post this all the time.
No, I don't.
It's super like HD.
I'm not that much of a masochist.
Oh God, it's destroyed my soul. It literally destroyed my soul.
That's
like,
what that website will do to you.
Yeah, I don't want to talk it up because like some people are like, oh, it's just a website, but like they're in the process of losing their soul. Anyway, it's this super HD interracial porn, and it's very well shot or whatever, so it gets posted everywhere, and how does this make you feel, white boy? That's what they always write, but it's always probably some guy from. It's probably a white supremacist trying to stir up racial hatred. That's usually it. So anyway, ISIS is like the blacked.com of terrorism because they post like super HD terrorism videos. But you know what? I was also thinking like, somewhere there's a serial killer and he's writing like some sort of like baby boomer clickbait article. Millennials are killing the serial killer trade. These millennials are so lazy that they just go on single mass shootings, and they don't have the work and dedication to wait between kills and to really build a rapport with the media and to really terrorize people. They just take a gun and just go and just shoot up a movie theater.
Yeah, they just want instant gratification.
Yeah, it's just like they just want the most Facebook likes, and that's all these stupid millennials care about. I've been getting really into true crime, and it turns out Nancy Grace isn't a complete piece of shit.
The genre?
Yeah. There's a lot of really good like podcasts that regular jackoffs make that are not too bad. There's this one called Unresolved that this guy... It should just be like the podcast, which I'm sure already exists. This whole podcast is basically just like one of those cold case file episodes, but no commercials, and it's all audio. But he'll talk about stuff from like Australia and how, like, I guess in like from like the 70s to the 80s, there might have been a ring of guys kidnapping young men ages 14 to 25. and like rape, and they were sodomized to death.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they bled to death through sodomy. So they put like a wine bottle or a bowling pin or something like that.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, and they might have been making like snuff videos, but they're not quite sure. But the pattern was found because they found bodies that had all been dismembered in the same way, and the ones that hadn't been, like, one got burned and one was decomposed, but they all had the same like saw marks behind the knees. But for all the other boys, they found like the same type of drugs. They found quaaludes in them and all kinds of shit like that. They caught one guy, but he was so fucking stupid and bumbling. Like, he hid his drugs on a high shelf that, like, as long as you didn't like get up on a stool and look above the ledge, you wouldn't see it. And he had like all these quaaludes and rohypnols and all this shit. So they caught one guy and he admitted to some, but they're pretty sure that there was a ring of guys going out there and like grabbing young men and sodomizing them to death.
How do you find like an affinity kind of circle for that?
Pre-internet.
What's that?
Pre-internet.
Yeah, pre-internet. Do you just like how do you kind of like
people needed money?
Do you think that's it?
I think
like just like paying someone, or just like
because if you have like a hitman, but
it can't just be money though, because like
look. I don't want to say something homophobic here, but there's some real darkness in the male homosexual community. Like I'm not bashing gay men, but if we're going to agree that toxic
men are we're pretty fucked up, so
yeah, and there
like
are
a bunch of us together.
Yeah, and you could easily have a coven of evil gay men.
That actually sounds like a great plot for something.
Yeah, and then you'd have I know, but you'd be fucking just... Because, like, how do you handle that in this age? Like, I'm not fucking writing that. You'd have to be, like, gay to write that.
Well, yeah, I guess that's what you would do. You just, like get a gay guy to do that. The book that I was talking about, the Don DeLillo one, is called Mao the Second. Which is, I'm not sure how Mao figures into the story. Well, I haven't read the book, so... But a crazy thing that I read about recently was the United Red Army in Japan during the 1960s. I think it was the 70s. Let me Google that real quick. It was like this Maoist group in Japan, but it was like this really small like Maoist faction that like they like raided like an armory and like shot up a police station or something.
Wow.
But okay, it was part of the student movement in the 1960s and 70s, but it was 29 people, right, that were part of this thing called the United Red Army. And so in, I think it was 1971, like these 29 kids, after like getting a bunch of guns, like went into the mountains to, I'm not sure like why they went into the mountains, just to like plan their like insurrection or whatever.
I'm pretty sure Mao said, "Step 2 to the revolution: go into the mountains."
Well, I mean, he did kind of like during the Long March.
Yeah,
he kind of just like
basically
swept through like all the peasant communities.
Yep.
But that actually worked because the Maoists would kind of like.
That was a near-run thing.
What's that?
It was a near-run thing. The Long March, that was not looking too good there at a few points.
Yeah, but I mean, like the Maoists would actually like get they'd like talk to the peasants and be like, what do you want? And they'd get them like involved in kind of their whole thing.
Like they take the landlords and they put them on their knees.
Oh yeah.
Which I'd love to do to my
That would be fucking awesome. Like,
dude, my rent went up $75
you could march
month.
through my countryside. I would get swept up in that like immediately. Just like kill my landlord. Fuck yeah.
Yes, God, yes. You're gonna just give this to me?
Your rent went up $70?
75.
God, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it goes up every year. It goes 75, 25, 75, 25.
That's insane.
Yeah, you know what the apartment manager said? Well, the market value went up. Like, oh, whatever. Which means, basically, if I get priced out of here, they're pretty sure they can get another sucker in here pretty fast.
They're probably not wrong. But, I mean, like, they're going to... Like, all these places are going to run out of, like, people that can actually afford to live there at some point.
Yeah, I mean, this is supposed to be a senior apartment, and I feel real bad for, like, the senior citizens. Like, I could just stop drinking, I could stop smoking, but a lot of old people...
Yeah, they can't stop being old.
Yeah, and they're not, like, they can't all drive Uber.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to close before we get like onto too much of a tangent. Just to close out this like weird story. So the United Red Army, they were in like they lived in like a cave in the mountains for like 4 months or something. So there was 29 of them originally, and then there was like 14 I think that actually came back because like they like killed each other through like a round of successive purges based on like people not being like fervent enough revolutionaries, allegedly. But like in practice, like it was a bunch of like petty shit. Like one of the leaders was, I should stop saying like so much. One of the leaders was a girl who was like not necessarily the most attractive, and so she would like, there I go again saying like, she would like have struggle sessions with like these more attractive women. So. Yeah, you can kind of tell where the
being pretty.
Yeah, I don't think it was that direct. I think that was the underlying kind of motivation.
Like the subtext.
But the cover for it was like, you're not a fervent enough revolutionary.
If I was an unattractive woman in this society, I probably would end up as a Maoist, because fuck that. That is such a bad fucking hand to be dealt.
If you were attractive or unattractive?
Unattractive.
Okay.
That's hard. It's hard enough to be a woman, and if you just were unattractive,
like being an unattractive dude sucks too. If you don't have like also like a cool personality.
Yeah, like me. Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, like girls will think that you're like a funny guy.
You're
really snarky. Like there's like people that are attracted to that. Also, you're smart, so.
Oh.
I'm just saying, there's like a market for that.
There is, believe me.
But you go on like the
for years. But if you go on to like our incel.
I was just gonna bring that up. Like
the newest meme.
Those dudes have nothing.
Yeah,
what? Well, some of them might be like conventionally attractive too, because I mean, like you look at.
Elliot Rodgers.
Obviously, yeah, you had like 2 episodes about Elliot Rodgers, but they're just like so fucked in the head that like girls see someone like that and they just know.
You can smell it.
Yeah, actually, like I was talking to my girlfriend recently, and she said kind of to the effect of the same thing. Like you see like a guy who's just like kind of a psycho, and like most girls will just know, but like the girls that don't, like they're the ones who like end up with those guys for just like years, just in these like insane abusive relationships.
Well, the funny thing about Elliot Rodgers is he could have easily have gotten a girl to be with him in like an abusive relationship, but he is so obsessed with like class, he couldn't ever like look for like a vulnerable girl. That's how fucking stupid he was.
Well, that's true with a lot of like the white supremacist, white nationalist kind of people on.
Oh yeah.
Like
on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like kind of weird men's rights people who like are all about getting like foreign brides basically, but like the rest of them
family court,
yeah, but like the rest of them are just obsessed with getting like basically like valley girl stereotypes. It's like why they suck.
Like don't you want to ever talk to them about something? Like boy,
I mean, I went to college twice and no thanks, not into it.
You could have got a valley girl.
I don't know, actually. I never really put the effort in or considered it, but just something about like their whole character and the way they carry themselves just kind of puts me off. And like I worked as like a teaching assistant in graduate school, so a lot of my students were kind of those girls, and they're just like not interested in learning. they're not really interested in anything other than like perpetuating kind of the like high school dynamic.
Wow, that's
which is gonna break down like a year into their college career, and they just don't know it yet.
well, that's part of
But I mean,
growing up for the rich.
Yeah, they're rich, so it doesn't matter. Like,
well, yeah, because that's
it doesn't matter if people hate them because they're rich.
Yeah, you're trash. I can hire someone to like me.
Yeah, have you seen? It's been a while since I saw it, but there was like ads by like rich people looking for like rent-a-friends, basically.
Good lord.
Which is funny because that was the premise of like a bit on what was that show with like the young Looney Tunes?
Oh, it's either Baby Looney Tunes or it's Lunatics Unleashed.
No, it's Tiny Toons, right? With like
Tiny Toons
that,
Adventures.
like the whole show was just like rife with 90s references, but it was in the 90s, so they weren't 90s references. They were just like overly self-aware about like the condition of the 90s, which actually might make the show worth rewatching.
I guess, but if you can get the 90s references, because I can't get them all.
But yeah, there was an episode that was. Do you remember the rich kid, Montana Max?
Yeah, he was like the
son of Yosemite Sam or something.
Yeah,
who was like a oil baron. I might be making that up, but that would be
in
good.
some skits, he was a Confederate slave owner.
Oh shit! Yeah. Wait, are you talking about Monty or okay?
Yosemite Sam.
I was gonna say that'd be kind of a fucked up thing to put in. Like in
well, if you're rich
cartoon.
in the South, you probably were a slave. You probably
are.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. That's why it's kind of sad, like, Abraham Lincoln kind of reined in General Sherman. Because that dude's plan was to, like...
Make Georgia howl.
But I mean, like, his plan was to kill all of the white slave-owning families in the South and then turn their land over to the slaves.
Oh, that was a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he gave a shit about the slaves that much, but he just thought that was like the ultimate disgrace to like the Confederate aristocracy.
Well, that's
which is true, and that would be awesome.
And the whole Ku Klux Klan existed as a way for them to reestablish the hierarchy that they had built, and that's where it all comes from.
That's why it's sad that they didn't let Sherman just kind of do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, I know. We sound like liberals praying for the deep state to take care of Trump.
Yeah, no, I'm not on board with that at all.
No.
But,
oh, God.
No, I've seen, you've seen, like, Hillary people after, what was that hurricane recently?
Irma or Harvey.
Yeah, it was Harvey.
Whatever. There's gonna be.
But more. Yeah, they were like, well, Texas voted for Trump, so fuck him. But I mean, like, the place like most ravaged by the hurricane was like one of the most cosmopolitan places in the United States. So like they can't even get that right. But it's still like fucked up anyway. Because you're not gonna win like anyone to your side by just like being a dick in the wake of a natural disaster.
No, never. I mean, look at like Pat Robertson. Every time something happens to gay people, or every time something happens, he's like, "Yeah, gay people."
How's that guy still alive?
Obviously, he's the prophet chosen by God to, do His will in the final days.
Yeah, I mean, does he just like?
He's rich. He can afford to live forever, basically.
Does he absorb like the souls of like aborted fetuses? I gotta wonder.
You'd have to find his phylacteries and break all 5 of them in his 3-level dungeon. He's probably a necromancer.
Maybe that's like why like people like that are so like fervently anti-abortion, because they have their own plans for those fetuses. Like, no, like, how will I get my life juice?
If you just throw them away or use it for stem cell research.
Right.
That's not true. So many people, did they pass a law in Texas or some other horrible southern state where they needed burials for fetuses?
That was Texas, yeah. Did that pass?
For-
Probably.
And
That's
I think
insane.
and Mike Pence wanted that for whatever horrid state he came from, probably Arkansas.
Yeah, God.
Oh, I know.
This is kind of probably why the United States should kind of like split into like a dozen different states.
Yeah, you know what?
'Cause there's no way to like reconcile like these different cultures.
They're different fucking cultures. There's a reason why Greece wasn't one state in the ancient world. City-states is a good idea.
I mean, you say that sarcastically, but that might be like not now, because obviously like just global capitalism is just going to steamroll like any kind of efforts at independence by anyone. But like in the future, like possibly if we get that under control, like city states, I think are kind of a cool thing.
Do you remember Stodels from YouTube, the white nationalist?
Oh yeah, dude, he
He's
actively harassed me for like 6 months, like way back in the day when I was probably like 19 or something.
That's
But just
awesome.
cause I started like calling bullshit on all of his dumb like white nationalist shit.
Well, I hadn't discovered him until he was Confederal Socialist, and he got me into ANCAPism. That guy had me when I was like a very young kid. I went from Stefan Molyneux and that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of people's story from our kind of age group who were,
Yeah, no
I
one's
want
gonna
to say,
know
like
who
people who are kind of like outsiders.
Yeah. So one time I asked him, Stodels, now he's the alternative hypothesis.
I'm
And
surprised he's still around.
He backed out of a debate with Destiny, going back to JonTron and all that. He had one of his little flunkies debate.
Oh shit, that guy
instead.
probably has like Stodels probably has like 1 million followers now, doesn't he?
Well,
'Cause
keeps
he's
getting
just
banned.
like-
So he kind of has the alternative hypothesis, and he's kind of worked within the alt-right, you know.
Okay.
But like, you know, people know he's gay, so it's kind of
Oh, he is.
yeah.
Oh.
I know
Ooh.
a lot about
Yeah,
this
you
guy.
can't really be in like the vanguard if that's the case.
No,
You're
the
relegated to being
Einsatzgruppen.
like a token, like Milo.
Yeah, but he's not that gay, so he's kind of like
Okay.
You know, he's like one of those straight gays, I guess. You know what I mean?
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, he's
I
No,
need
he's just-
I need some clarity.
yeah. Well, being gay is not really that big of a deal to him, and you know, it doesn't really say
Okay.
a lot about him anyway. So, just you can be gay and you can be a shithead.
Oh,
I
yeah, totally.
Yeah. But after he had gotten completely beaten as Stoles on his white nationalist thing, he did the
Yeah, he was getting owned by other libertarians
big time,
like all
in
the
fact.
time.
Well, you know what? Spock Talk's the guy that got him out of fucking anarcho-capitalism because he just would not let up on him on the fucking defense thing. There was a long string of videos, and then I really lost interest with him with Confederal Socialists, Stodels, that guy, because he just wouldn't stop making race and IQ videos, and he
was ahead of his time, really.
He really
on the cutting
was.
edge.
Yeah, he kind of laid the foundation for the alt-right in many ways.
He was like I'm
mean,
trying to think of like an artistic equivalence.
God, he was almost like, I don't, you can't even say it. He's his own thing. I hope and you know what? You know, one time I emailed him and I asked him, why do you think there's so much Neon Genesis Evangelion porn? Like, why so much, and why is it still made? In fact, if you want, I could probably find what he sent me on YouTube.
From your replies?
Yeah, this was years ago, but I've had.
Yeah,
if
if you're already logged into YouTube, you might as well.
I've never logged out of anything. Pretty much been
Just
actively.
never log off.
I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm one of those blue pill guys. You know what? It's stupid to fucking unplug from the Matrix. You're a fucking moron. Why? So you can go back to regular society and be a battery again for the fight against the robots? You might as well just be normal. I mean, it's all social.
Yeah, I think the best deal in the Matrix would be to like go back into it, but with like all of the knowledge that you have of the outside, so you could continue to just manipulate things like Neo did and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that would be awesome.
Because, you know, like Jesus was probably one of the ones.
Yeah.
And Muhammad.
Yeah, but you know, Jesus, like, he was smart. Like, he didn't try and like destroy the Matrix. He just tried to make
things better. He's like,
yeah.
hey guys, don't trust rich people.
Yeah.
Get rid of these. Just pay your taxes. Keep your head down. Damn, how do you find... they changed the UI of YouTube, like, it feels like every couple months, and I just can't find anything anymore.
Yeah, they changed it, like, a couple weeks ago, but it was a really subtle change, and the result of the change was mostly that things look slightly worse. Like, it looked a little bit more like a Geocities page than it did before.
I thought that was pronounced GeoCities.
Oh shit, you're probably right.
GeoCities. That sounds kind of cool. It was a Geocity.
Yeah, GeoCities, I don't know, it doesn't roll off the tongue like Geocities does.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I didn't have a computer that could... I didn't have the internet until the end of the Bush era.
Yeah, I didn't get... I think I had, like, primitive internet in, like, 1999 or something.
Oh, that must have been...
But I didn't get, like, real internet until, like, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I had to say on that.
Well, that was a lot earlier than me.
Yeah, I was never into, like, the, like, deep internet culture, though.
Hold on, I have to take a piss.
Okay. How's that piss?
You know, want to know something? That was a good one. Sometimes I take it, like, when I wake up in the morning after a long night of drinking, I take the longest piss. It is ridiculous. Like, I don't want to say I piss like a racehorse, but definitely like a Shetland pony.
Yeah, are you a morning shitter?
Dude, I'm a morning shitter. I'm a mid-morning.
Nice.
I shit like a hobbit. I have like my second breakfast shit, and I have...
Oh, you got multiple shit today.
Yeah, dude, I don't have to tell any... Like, I work pretty much by myself, so I could, man. It's nice. I gotta tell you.
That does sound nice. Like, just kind of, like, working... Like, people leave you alone when you work.
Yeah, basically.
God, because the worst thing about any job is just, like, other people getting in your business.
Oh, dude, and I have, like, a walk-in, which I might have, like, 2 a week. I'm just like, oh, my God. Jesus Christ, what are you doing here?
What are you doing in your own house? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, just people... Now, I don't always go out. I usually work in the shop. So, I don't always have to go to Orange County. Tomorrow I do, though, which is why I'm so fucking pissed off about it. And I can't find my fucking messages on YouTube anymore.
People probably, like, when you're doing screens and shit, they probably, like, stand around and, like, watch you because, like, they're rich people and they're paranoid that you're gonna, like, steal their shit or, like, rub your, like, greasy, like, pearl hands on their fucking antique vases.
You want to know something, though? It's not always Jews, but a lot of the time it's these, like, just obviously Jewish people. And I swear to God, you're a fucking millionaire, you have a house in Malibu, and you're complaining that we might have to come back here and you might have to spend another $125 for us to service your 5 screens. It's just like, you should... If I lived here, I'd wipe my ass with $125.
Yeah, God.
That'd be my Coke budget, my daily Coke budget.
Man, yeah, dude, if I had, like, $1 million, if somebody gave me $1 million right now, I'd just be balling.
I'd waste it.
Actually, you know, probably what I'd do is, like, buy some, like, land in, like, Canada or something and just build, like, a cabin and just, like, move, like, me and my girlfriend out there and just be like, fuck you, world.
Buy lakes.
That's
and buy shit that
yeah, dude.
Buy water, basically.
Canada has just the best lakes in the world.
Jesus Christ, I might... This fucking awesome analysis he sent me about Neon Genesis Evangelion hentai might be gone to the ages.
Did he write like a whole essay about it?
Pretty much. Like,
God,
I wasn't
wow.
expecting what he sent me. It was kind of amazing. Like, his best videos he's ever made when he was parodying Stefan Molyneux and he was, like, psychologically analyzing 8-bit video games. It was... That was he did a few of them.
No, that's kind of the thing about, like, people like him. Is, like, they're like, so close to, like... I don't want to say wokeness, because it's a stupid fucking thing to say. But, like, analyzing things in terms of, like primitive sexual pathologies and impulses, like, that's good. That's true. That does figure into, like, everyday politics.
What I feel like is they can identify the problem, and this is something you've said, but their fucking solution is wacky, you know? So they can accurately see what's wrong, but what they come out with is this, you know, horrible ideology steeped in their own fucking pathology.
It's like their own neuroses.
You know, and they obviously can influence and lead people. Like, I'm a follower, alright? Like,
same pretty much.
Yeah, I pull oars, alright? I don't steer ships. You know, I can't. Like, I'm not dynamic, I'm not cool, right? I
think you could definitely be like a
cult leader. I know.
A cult, yeah, like a carrot. You could refine your charisma to like a fine weapon if you wanted.
God, I want to be a pimp. Don't tell my girlfriend. I hope she didn't hear that.
That seems like a waste, though. Like, no. Just.
I mean, yeah, I could be.
You could have so much more power.
I could, but things are going weird with my mom right now. I don't really like women.
Oh.
Much. No,
well,
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I thought you were gonna go into a serious tangent about like something your mom is doing.
No, my mom's a human being, and you know what?
She seems like a nice lady that just can't like say no to all the like shitty, awful people in her life.
She can't because she has a heart.
I know. It's a terrible thing.
My heart is hardened like a pharaoh. I don't care. I haven't cared since 9/11 because my mom signed the divorce papers that fucking Sunday right before, and all that at once.
I'm definitely like a care person, not like your mom, but in the sense that like any issue I will find just I pathologically care about things.
Yeah. Well, you know what the thing is? My mom is a true leftist in some way. She doesn't know it, but she gives herself up for the community that she cares about, and she does what she has to do to keep it going. Like, the love that someone has... I'm going to sound like Zizek right here. You see, Jesse, the problem is, you know, the basic family unit, that is the true ideology. A government should act like a mother that does what she needs to do and so forth. You know, she gets into the debts that need to be done. She goes into the bad things, but she makes sure her children have a safe place to live. You know, and healthcare for all, and so forth. Is that a good Zizek?
That's a really good impression, actually. I can't do impressions of anything, because I have kind of just like a flat monotone voice.
Well, you see, Jesse, I am also overweight and addicted to cocaine, and this is already easy for me. My mouth is constantly full of saliva.
It really is. What is up with that? He's constantly generating like tons of mucus. He just has to constantly like drain his nose.
I should not be on TV.
He needs to get like a stoma or something like in his nasal cavity, just so it will like drain out without affecting his speech.
I have the rare form of sleep apnea, but it is when I am awake.
I'm pretty sure. On a serious note, I'm pretty sure I have sleep apnea. Because I wake up just fucking tired all the time. No matter how much I sleep, yeah. I have like a hard time breathing sometimes. Like it feels like air's not getting through my like nostrils.
I'm fat as fuck, so I probably have that too on top of the myriad of other things.
I'm not even fat, and like I still have that.
You know what? I'm gonna Google how to find old YouTube messages. How to find messages on...
Oh, speaking of September 11th, you know who died on September 11th? Is well, I mean, a lot of people.
Quite a few. And even some service animals.
Handful.
That's the real tragedy. That an innocent dog had to die.
Some raccoons probably died too. Some like doves nesting.
Yeah, a sewer rat. Maybe even a bald eagle. Could you imagine if a bald eagle's nest was on the Twin Towers?
The highest concentration of peregrine falcons in the world is in New York City, I think. Like not not the suburbs, but like the city itself.
I had heard that some falcons or some birds of prey really do quite well in urban environments like that.
Yeah, that's a that's a crazy thing about like human urban environments, because we're actually creating like these new like parallel ecosystems for other animals.
Yeah, and you know, so many animals are getting fatter and smarter, just like us. Like raccoons have like a huge gout epidemic.
It's crazy
because they eat trash, but they're getting smarter because only the smart ones that get through our clever trash can locking mechanisms.
You know what's funny is like when we wipe ourselves out because we like don't know how to deal with any of our like problems that we've created as a civilization, the next like whatever like comes next, they're going to be automatically civilized just by virtue of already being like an urban species.
Yeah, they're going to be there, and then they're going to have like weird fucking, why are we so programmed already for these strict mazes and stuff, you know, and blah blah blah. And why do we eat food out of tall cylinder objects? It's just, this doesn't...
Yeah, it comes from our evolutionary history of of living in streets built by other people.
And now the coyotes will have legends about us.
Oh damn! Like, this would be such a good like fiction series. Like all like post-humans, just all the other like urban animals attain like sapience at the same time. Actually, wait a minute. That's just Zootopia. Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They already did that. They already made that.
Zootopia. I saw that movie. Did I tell you when I saw that movie with my girlfriend, who exists?
I mean, I still haven't met her, but
I know you've known me.
I've heard you talking with a girl before. That sounded like your girlfriend, so
you've never
like based on the evidence.
I know.
I'm gonna say she probably exists.
Yeah, but you never know. It's like evolution. Okay.
That is weird that I've never met her though.
She is not. You know what? She just because she doesn't want to ever go back to Hemet.
I don't blame her.
And if you came up here, you'd probably meet her.
Oh yeah. Hey, I've been searching for jobs. Maybe I should apply up there.
There's always, I don't know if it's still true, but for a long time they always had people that could help. Like they always need like people that could be autism assistants. It started off at like $18 an hour, and really all you needed was a degree in psychology or something like that.
That might be worth checking out. Although I've applied to like similar jobs like that before, but I've never gotten a response.
Just keep trying. Probably because you're a man and they're worried about you raping your autistic child.
Yeah. People are fucking paranoid about that. Like you hardly see any like male kindergarten teachers or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of that whole satanic panic thing that happened because...
Yeah, in the 80s.
Yeah. I watched...
I did a like lengthy research paper on that phenomenon in graduate school.
No shit.
I think, did we talk about this before?
Satanic
on the last...
Panic?
Yeah, on the last podcast.
That was like 2 hours long. No one's going to listen to that.
Oh, okay. Is anyone going to listen to this, though? This is probably going to be 2 hours long also. Just because I fucking love talking, so...
Well, the people who like my podcast, and once they know I'm doing this again, they come back. Like the same about 14. Although the one Elliot Rodger video with Annika has like 100 and something views.
You probably got a bunch of people from like the incel subreddit just thinking like it was going to be like
You want to know how I know?
How?
I got a comment. Did I tell you about this?
I think you did, but refresh my memory here.
All right. Well, this guy said his name was ABCXYZ. Great screen name, by the way. Anyway, he said, that vile Stacy laughing at other people's suffering. She deserves to have boiling water poured all over her until she looks like a swamp monster. Maybe then she can empathize with the undesirables. And then someone's all like, I know, right? That's women's empathy, I guess. Unwittingly just proved Elliot's point. His psychological deterioration is the only logical result of 22 years of social exclusion. A shy kid who grew up either bullied or shunned because of his height and mixed ethnicity. I can't say it in that voice.
Ethnicity?
Yeah. With this tragic end is no With this tragic end is no laughing matter. And then XYZ chimes in again. Just shows you how just shows you how you have been succumbed by feminist indoctrination. He's talking to me because it says something. As a man, it is your divine responsibility to care for your other man before some random sluts, because you have to give to those that are most likely to give back to you. Let's hope you at least get to fuck Annika in the ass on a regular basis to keep her in line. Yeah, Annika was so fucking mad at that. She probably heard me talking about that. And she's gonna be mad again. She hated those motherfuckers. So those are our incels. Man. Totally. And I'm not sure if they're being ironic, but at this point, I mean...
It doesn't... there's got to be some... Is there already some kind of corollary that describes, like, somebody who has taken on a persona, ironically, so long that it's... Like, not only, like, their effect on the world is basically the same as if they were that person.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, is
and also they eventually, like, adopt that mentality anyway because of cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, I hate to admit this, but I kind of went through, like, a reactionary sort of phase. Luckily, I wasn't too vocal about this because I knew I'd lose all my friends, so I never went too far into that, but I don't know. I can, like, it starts ironically, like, haha, yeah, Jews, right? And then by, like, the end of it, you're like, haha, yeah, Jews, right?
That's true, though. That's how it is.
Like, you just get brainwashed, because after a while, it's, like, the only thing that's mildly entertaining in your life, and then it kind of consumes you. And I know if you're like an average person listening, you think, wow, this guy Levi is retarded. But, like, it happens. Like... Oh, yeah, totally. Like, I get constant... Like, I used to be a hardcore Christian when I was a child. Up until I was about 16. I'm malleable. Like, I'm a human being, goddammit. Like, I don't...
Like... Kind of, like, everyone, they don't want to admit it, but, like, nobody is rational at all, and everyone is just, like, really susceptible to, like, psychological manipulation.
Right?
People are not rational animals.
No. Like, and rationality is just a thing we made up.
Yeah, that's true also.
Because, obviously, because people like Sargon of Akkad and Stefan Molyneux exist, you can kind of just call anything rational.
Yeah.
Because it's up to you to decide if it's rational or not, and that's inherently fucking subjective, right? I mean, am I being retarded here, or what?
No, it's totally true. I mean, like, I think rationality was instrumental in kind of setting up, like, the scientific institutions that produce, like, useful knowledge.
Yeah,
but that's, like, that's different from... like trying to adopt like a rational viewpoint towards just like everyday problems and relationships.
Yeah, that's like if YouTubers said they were instead of being logical and rational, they were Betamax in Windows 95. Like, yeah, it was good when it came out, but it's just like how people try to still use what is his name? Not Thomas Hobbes, but Adam Smith. No.
I've never actually read Adam Smith.
John
I feel
Locke
like
is who I'm thinking
I feel like
about.
he's one of those people that I have to read at some point because he's kind of like the foundation of modern economics.
Yeah.
But like I don't think you can fully understand people like Marx unless you also understand Adam Smith.
Yeah, because it's connected. It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's like if you read Marx, you're not really gonna get Marx unless you had read all the shit he'd been reading.
You gotta read like Smith. You gotta read Hegel.
Oh God.
You gotta read.
I tried to read like a paragraph of
probably
Hegel,
Aristotle or something. I don't know.
and it really hurt. Like it literally hurt my brain trying to read Hegel.
Yeah, he had that like postmodern sensibility of just dense, verbose, flowery writing down before postmodernism existed.
I can't do it. It's hard, man. I'll never learn anything.
Have you read it's like reading like any of those post-structuralist writers like Derrida or Lacan? But I mean,
for the longest time, I thought that sort of stuff was bad because it was Marxist and that leads to communism.
Like the thing is, there's like good ideas in there. And there's like important critiques of like the conditions of like late stage capitalism, but they're buried in just
I know about like antithesis and synthesis and all that. I've learned about that and how you can take like an idea and its opposite and you can fuse the two after and you can make a better idea.
That's that's dialectics right there.
Right. Okay. Good.
But I think the idea behind like dialectical materialism is that just happens like throughout history.
Okay. So you're just doing this all the time. You don't even realize.
Yeah. I don't know, it seems reasonable. That's kind of how I describe like a lot of things that happen throughout history. I don't know. But what the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah, just reading like any of those post-structuralists because they're all written like the aesthetic of that writing is basically unified with like the thing that it's critiquing itself, which is kind of like the insanity of like the postmodern condition.
Yeah, because I can understand why some people really don't like postmodernism because it can really blow apart your the way you used to think and to figure out how your life works.
Well, the thing about those like postmodernist and post-structuralist writers is that like they weren't advocating a world without norms. They were just saying like this is the condition. These are like corollaries of like global capitalism.
Yeah.
And like the abstraction of value to the extent that it exists in a financialized economy.
Well, I just think with like postmodernism, if I could sum it up in one sentence, it's just question your assumptions. The things you take for granted. Like
I think that
if I had to put it in that one, way cut down side, and I think when people are criticizing postmodernism in that broad YouTube sort of way, I think that's what they're criticizing is the idea of
that's like the postmodern approach to like epistemology, I guess.
Yeah, I figured.
But I guess it's helpful to separate the terms postmodernism and postmodernity.
Yeah, that's real hard.
Because like postmodernity, I think is like the proper term for what a lot of people describe by postmodernism, which is just kind of it's the condition that exists as a result of like global financial capitalism and like mass communication and all that.
Yeah, life is a big goddamn Adam Curtis documentary.
Yeah, pretty much.
A funny thing happened at some point.
But I've also been meaning to read that book, Postmodernism, God damn it, what's it called? I'm gonna look this up.
I've been meaning to read that book, Culture of Critique. It's a big an anti-Semitism.
Postmodernism or the Cultural Logic of Late Capitalism.
Okay.
By Frederick Jameson. Because I listened to Frederick Jameson give like a talk.
A TED Talk?
And it was pretty cool. He mostly talks about how art and aesthetics figure into it. But I mean, obviously that's connected to everything else.
Obviously.
Which is another thing that those alt-right people are correct about, which is infuriating. Like, they get that aesthetics is connected to everything else.
Oh yeah, optics.
Okay. So going back to September 11th.
Oh, I thought I thought that was just a quick joke, like.
It wasn't actually.
Oh, that was a gigantic tangent.
Right.
That was like an hour.
So
tangent. I'm sorry, Jesse.
I know. That's kind of the fun of these
Conversations.
So there's no reason to.
Yeah.
Well, just like going on tangents, and like probably people that would enjoy listening to this are people that just kind of put stuff on the background to hear people talk.
Yeah.
Which is what I do a lot of the time.
Me too.
So, like, just kind of having nebulous, tangential discussions.
You wouldn't
is probably...
believe how many times I had been looking at porn and I had left Stefan Molyneux talking in the background while I had jacked off to completion.
Oh, God. That'll give you some kind of a syndrome.
Oh, well, yeah. I'd say. Anyway,
all right.
So 9/11, what happened? What was this funny
So
story?
a particular person died on that date, but in 1851, his name was Sylvester Graham. So you're familiar with graham crackers, Levi?
Yeah, the bread of the s'more.
Yeah, they're the bread of the s'more. They're pretty good.
But not by themselves.
Really?
They're okay. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I could eat like a whole stack of them like nothing. But I could.
I'm actually not a fan of like the cinnamon ones. I think the honey ones are pretty good though.
Oh, dude, the honey ones are.
They're just kind of
they're lit, as the kids say.
They're what the British people would call digestive biscuits. They serve in that capacity.
God. Would they eat them for health reasons?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the idea behind them. But actually, graham crackers, my girlfriend and I looked into this recently because we were interested to know like who Graham was, or if like graham crackers were named like after a guy or something.
Yeah, why Graham?
So graham actually refers to the type of flour that they're made from, which differs from like regular flour because it's like the seeds of wheat ground up. That makes like white flour, right? Like you separate the hull from like the seeds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a graham flour, because ordinarily you would just like throw the hulls away. So for graham flour, the hulls are actually ground up separately and then they're reconstituted like as a flour. And that's what graham flour is. So it's basically like whole wheat, except for whole wheat, like you would grind them together. Obviously, there's no reason to separate them. But for graham flour, you have to separate them. I don't know what the logic behind that is. But it was invented by this dude named Sylvester Graham in the like mid 19th century, right? So Sylvester Graham, he was a like itinerant Presbyterian preacher.
Of course.
Yeah. So he believed that like the food that we ate caused like temptations of the flesh. So his whole thing was he was also against industrial bread making.
Mm-hmm.
And he believed that like bread should be handmade and like flour should be hand milled. But he believed in a diet, I think it was called the Graham diet, where it was vegetarian, right?
All right.
And like condiments, coffee, tea, alcohol, and spices were all forbidden. And that's a funny like Protestant fixation too, is like spices as being like like these vectors of sin.
Because they came from brown countries.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, but also just like anything that gives you any kind of sensation at all.
Yeah,
it's just bad.
If it's not British cooking, I'll have my chicken boiled just like Mom.
If you're not miserable, then it's just bad.
Yeah.
Like you have to be miserable.
Otherwise, God is not pleased.
Yeah, that honestly like explains a lot of like the cultural legacy of the United States.
Yeah, basically.
Because, I mean, like, people like Sylvester Graham, who is from, like, the East Coast. But, I mean, these were, like the founding, like, settlers of this country.
Yeah, basically.
And, like, that whole Protestant ethic kind of, that's still with us. Just, like, misery is good. Yeah. And, like, wanting good things is bad.
Yeah. they just hated their bodies.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You know, everything about it, they just hated. And sadly, I will never ever find that Stodel's message. I finally made it to my messages after Googling it for probably about 40 minutes straight since we've been talking, and I finally got to my messages, and no messages to display. They deleted all of them, so they're gone forever.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's...
All right.
So anyway,
So
Graham, right?
Graham. Yeah, there's just a couple more interesting things about his life. So he was kind of a controversial guy in his time, because he actually talked about like sexuality during his like itinerant preaching sessions.
Yeah, and this is at a time
like even
when the whole reason black meat and white meat that started because people didn't want to say leg and thigh. So he was actually talking about sexuality.
Oh, is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh God! Wow.
According to David Carradine
Damn.
on Wild West Tech on the History Channel in the mid 2000s.
That is wow. That's
also
like a whole.
why,
That's a whole other thing.
I mean, we cover like table legs.
Really?
Well, yeah, because people were so sexually
God damn.
repressed.
They would get aroused by fucking furniture.
Because they think about legs,
Jesus.
and they just be
Wow.
like, "Oh my god, oh my god."
That's crazy. God, can you imagine just being that repressed?
Yeah, Jesse. When I was
Yeah, you know, actually, I sort of can too.
yeah, because when I was
I got to use my imagination. But...
Yeah, when I was like 11, actually, well, ever since when I was young and I started masturbating, I thought if I had masturbated twice in a night, I was really pushing it with God. You know, and I already felt like I was going to go to hell for doing that. And I had started masturbating before I'd even really had a solid idea on what a vagina looked like. You know, like this is just some weird kid thing, you know, but because of Christianity, it had to be evil and corrupted.
Oh, dude, until I was like probably 11, I thought it was like more... Because, you know, it's kind of like it's like basically on the underside, right?
Yeah.
It's like on the bottom, not like on the front. But like when I was like a little kid, I thought it was like on the front, right?
Yeah, like it's your dick.
Like like it's just like higher up.
Yeah.
Like more like closer to your like belly button than your asshole.
Yeah. Because it's like you don't imagine that because it's like, well, where would their balls go?
I wasn't thinking that.
I know, I didn't have balls then. Those were in my chest for some reason because of biology. Right? Don't your testes drop, or was that one of those things like my brothers told me that wasn't true?
You know, I gotta say, I've always had like balls on the outside, so.
Yeah, me too. So I don't understand where like this, like, you know, your nuts drop. Like I don't understand that.
Is that a thing people say?
Yeah. God.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they just like get lower?
I guess.
I mean, they do get lower as you get older, just because like your scrotum, like. Becomes sad, yeah. God, I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh, I am. I'm gonna fucking swing that. I'm gonna do like yo-yo tricks with it. Although every time you get fucking...
I'm gonna get like a hairband on it.
I'm gonna tie it in a knot.
I'm gonna braid it.
I already do that with the hair.
Okay. Actually, you know, like, I gotta say, like, I'm not a huge fan of my pubic hair. I feel like it gets...
Yeah, my girlfriend's not a huge fan of my pubic hair either. It looks like Halloween Town.
Wait, what? Halloween Town?
Yeah, my pubic hair is awful.
Mine's just like, it looks like frizzy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's got like split ends. It looks like really shitty, like hair that if it was on top of a girl's head, she'd just be like an outcast. Like all the other girls make fun of her because of her shitty hair.
She'd have a Tumblr. Poor puberta.
But getting back to Graham real quick.
I guess this is why these types of problems, I mean, people just didn't know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Graham, this guy.
So yeah, like his whole thing was like he had this like lifestyle plan which included like foods that would decrease libido, right? Like that was his whole thing. But I think Graham flour more specifically, because his diet was meat free. Like the hulls in wheat, that has a ton of protein in it, right? Like whole wheat flour has way more protein in it than white flour.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so his whole thing was like it's a plain food that you can have that's also protein rich.
So it'll keep your boners down. That's
Yeah.
weird. You know, people, because, you know, like, they give prisoners, like, all soy stuff to, like, up their estrogen levels and stuff, so they're not as,
Do they actually put, like, saltpeter in their food, or is that a myth?
I don't know if it's saltpeter, but they definitely use, like, soy products, and they give them, like, bread. They're trying to make you, like, fat, doughy, so you won't want to fight so much.
That's a pretty good idea, honestly.
Yeah, kind of. They should also, like, give them internet porn. You know, if you just let them stay in the prison cell jacking off, like, if you weren't...
You'll have way less prison rape if you do that.
Yeah, and they'll be just as miserable. People are miserable
just,
doing that all
let
day.
them have their fucking Hustler magazines or whatever.
Something, Jesus. Let them jack off. Like, because the guard will stop you from jacking off and be like, hey!
Man, that's so shitty.
I know, what am I supposed to do in prison? Like, I know you have to come and check on me, but, like, I'm in prison. I'm gonna jack off. I mean, like...
It's like being in a fucking boarding school with school marms.
Oh.
Like nuns coming in and just, like, hitting you with a
nightstick instead of a ruler.
Yeah.
I bet,
if you touch yourself.
I bet nuns wish they had nightsticks. They probably did. I'm sure there was an enterprising nun with
Actually, Graham ran a kind of like a cross between, like, a boarding house and, like, a YMCA kind of thing for, like, men to keep them away from, like, it was all men, right? To keep them away from temptation.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd all do, like, you know, like, crappy Protestant labor, and also eat, like, according to the Graham diet, which is, like, fresh vegetables and fruits and graham bread and, you know, like, water.
So
you can't have tea, you can't have coffee, you can't have spices, you can't have meat. So you just eat that, you work, you come home and sleep in, like, a barracks with a bunch of other dudes. I wonder, like, how gay places like that were.
They probably...
You know, like, I really gotta wonder.
Yeah, it must have been... You know what? Maybe that's how people were just gay back then. Because...
Yeah.
You know how Coca-Cola used to have, like, Coke in it? Maybe graham crackers used to have, like, poppers in them. And that would keep straight people away, because it's like, you know, that'd keep all the normies away. Well, I can't eat spices, I can't drink beer, I'm not ever gonna bug those people. I'll just drink and beat my wife. You know, who cares? So maybe that's just what they did, was just, you know, make this horrible, strict environment, but on
that would be the perfect cover too.
It really would be. And if, like, you know, a priest comes by and visits, you know, he brings his brothel of young boys. No, I'm kidding. They put on a show, like, you know, like, this sounds like a really good, like, Fox adult cartoon. It's like this gay colony in, like, the 1500s. And they have to, like, keep an illusion of, you know, Protestant values, even though on the inside it's a complete...
So they're just, like, super gay all the time, but then, like the Pope is coming to visit, and they're like, oh my god, we gotta...
All right,
boys. We gotta hide all the, like, marble dildos or whatever they had back then. I don't know what they had.
Oh, well, they probably well funded, so... Someone put a loincloth on Jesus and hang him up. You ever seen those? You ever been to, like, a mission? And they have those nice carvings of... Like, I went to one in, like, San Diego. And they had, like, these, like, you know...
I've been to a couple.
Yeah, and they have, like, you know, these idolaters, Catholics, have the... you know, images of Jesus hanging up, and he's all cut. I mean, this is a hackneyed bit, but, you know, man, it must have been, like, torture being gay, like, up until, like, still.
Like 30 years ago.
Yeah, and even then, you're, like, the prime target for
depending,
serial killers.
depending where you are, I guess.
Yeah, and even I
mean, then, like, in the South, probably a lot of places, it's still really shitty.
Oh, yeah, because, like, you never know if some fucking good old boys are gonna, like, corner you, and...
Yeah.
They're gonna rape you to prove a point.
Yeah, man, it sucks.
And beat you to death. We sure showed that fan. Who's gay now? Not me. I've proven it. Yeah.
Man.
I'm cutting that out.
What's that?
I'm gonna have to cut that out.
Oh, leave it in.
No,
I mean, that's true though.
It's true, but I've gotten a lot more sensitive of it. Like, remember when I showed up on the Wrong Boys? Like, I need to send them another recording, and I need to, like, apologize for saying, you know, the other F word to Aaron. I mean, they laughed
They
and all that.
didn't seem super bothered by it.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I've listened to people talk about how, like, slurs can have like a physical reaction kind of effect on them, and I don't know. Like, I don't need to say faggot. I don't need to say the N-word. It's not important because to some people it's damaging,
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like PewDiePie either, who just like fucking says it because it's the first thing that comes to mind.
He said it intentionally so because of controversy, and he could apologize about it and go back to doing what he was doing. Because it's like North Korea threatening with the nukes. That like, this is what they do, and that's how they fucking keep getting what they want. Now, though, with like Trump in office,
and then he has a bunch of people rushing to his defense.
Oh god!
Like every time.
And unlike North Korea, though, because do you really like? Because
I don't know. Like there's definitely like part of like the non-aligned bloc of countries that are definitely like pro North Korean. Mm-hmm. They don't have any power, but
no, not at all.
They're definitely like they're sympathetic to like people that would be on, or countries that would be on the receiving end of American imperialism.
Which like North Korea though is so shitty. Like, it's almost like
that's pretty bad. Like,
the neocons should have went after North Korea instead of like the Middle East, because it'd be a way better sell. Because
I feel like China kind of dropped the ball letting them get nuclear weapons, because now China can't. Like, all they can do is like prop up the regime to keep the country from falling apart.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, at this point, they might need to, because these might not be, because like they're
like it would be smart of China to like do something about this before.
It would be smart of China to invade first.
Yeah, because I mean, they do, like, the last thing they want is like a North Korea that's basically a puppet state of the U.S. or like a protectorate of the U.S. Because then like the U.S. is like on their borders, not just from South Korea but from there. Like, North Korea is like the buffer between South Korea and China, which
is the only reason it really exists.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I don't know like what they're planning or anything, but
I'm pretty sure China's if America made.
I mean, they got to be planning something.
Yeah, because they're not idiots.
But, yeah, I mean they don't have like Xi Jinping isn't up there every day telling everyone about their secret plans.
No, not at all.
Unlike somebody here.
I know. Israel must be like, oh man, we're gonna save so much money, spies anymore to get American secrets. Because Israel.
Oh yeah, they probably do have spies here.
Yeah, they do. There was a guy.
They're fucking tons.
There's a guy in prison right now
who
stole nuclear secrets from the U.S. and gave them to China so he could sell them so Israel could sell them to Russia. Or oh god, I'm gonna listen to that later and cut it out.
I was gonna say like Russia already has nuclear weapons.
Yeah, but there's stuff to know. You can never not have enough information in this economy. And
the information economy, but the information happens to be like nuclear weapon blueprints
and all that kind of shit. Well, the real problem is like the Earth could stand about conservatively like 90 something nuclear weapons, but don't let those fucking North Korea is like a country that needs invaded. Like, I think we've all been hoping that it's just gonna collapse.
They need something's got to happen.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's not collapsing on its own like it's supposed to.
Well, I think like letting it collapse on its own would be a terrible idea.
Well, as opposed to invading it though and bombing the shit out of it. But on the other hand though, the big major cities are mostly empty. So, and you'd probably only kill like hardcore party members. So maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually.
So maybe God, I'm gonna sound like a neocon here, but maybe.
I mean, it's a difficult.
This is a different
situation.
Yeah, because it's like I don't want to be like, oh fuck the USA, their imperialism, but it's like I take U.S. imperialism over what's going on in North Korea. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Sucks. I feel like if we did anything over there, I don't think we'd improve much. Because I mean, there would be like guerrilla resistance for years.
Maybe not though, because like the Middle East is kind of a different subject. You know, because I think people would like, I don't know, like there's something to be offered to the North Korean people, unlike because, you know, a big sticking point.
Yeah, that's true also, actually.
Because the big sticking point in the Middle East is the U.S.'s support of Israel, whereas, you know, lots of Koreans on both sides want to be reunified. I mean, it would be it's the worst diaper to change on a geopolitical scale, but I mean, it's gonna, like, the longer we wait, I mean, the worse it's gonna get. And if we let them get a hydrogen bomb, that's, you know, that could cause untold damage to the ecosystem of the entire planet if one of those went off on accident. And
yeah, it's a difficult situation, but yeah, I'm definitely hoping China kind of takes care of this.
Yeah, or
like whatever their strategy is, I don't know.
I bet Vietnam's gonna invade them because they always go in there and they always handle shit. They took care of the Khmer Rouge. Just Vietnam, do what you gotta do.
I'm ashamed to say it, but I gotta look up a map now to see where Vietnam is in relation to North Korea.
They need like a navy, and they need like paratroopers. But I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. The problem with the U.S. invading is we'd go way overboard and we'd kill too many innocent people. But like,
no, yeah, everyone would be. Well, also, I don't think like nobody that's in charge right now is going to give a shit about like collateral damage in South Korea.
No. Not
well, maybe like some generals.
Yeah, like people who think about it, because like, you know, people have been pouring over.
I mean, that's probably the only reason we're like not there already is because there's probably a few like sane generals somewhere in the chain of command that are like, no, that's fucking stupid. We can't do that.
Yeah. The military is not completely bad, I don't think. I do think there is something to that military kind of mindset. There's something there. I just think it's directed in a very bad way by government policy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's also like just insane people that end up just like way high up on the hierarchy.
Definitely.
Just because of like nepotism.
Yeah, so we can't forget that. Like John McCain has crashed way too many planes. You know, he's a nepotism case.
Oh, man, aren't people like just like worshiping him again because he voted not to like take away everyone's healthcare again?
Well, the bar is low.
Yeah, it must be.
Because I was thinking like, oh, thank God John McCain had us. Like maybe like
a good thing he has a tumor, and
maybe the tumor was like
it's like the only thing helping.
Well, maybe the tumor was like making him evil, and now that they took it out, like he's all like, as soon as it's gone, he's like, I need to get out of here and I need to vote no against it. And now he's like, maybe he's like planning on maybe he's trying to get a suicide vest so he can kill the entire Trump administration. Like maybe like he's a good guy now. That's a joke brought to you by your friends at Levi and Friends. It is no way any type of plan in case any FBI person is listening.
Hear me out here. What if the tumor wasn't a tumor? It was actually some kind of like growth caused by an experimental biological agent used on him in Vietnam by the U.S. like without his knowledge.
Like his brain got calcified from Agent Orange.
Well, yeah. Like it was just like some experiment designed to like turn soldiers into like just like stoic, unfeeling killing machines, but it just didn't work very well, and it just made people like brain sick. Like it gave them like evil tumors, basically.
I think
I don't know. Could happen.
Could at least be a good episode of American Dad.
There we go.
Yeah. American Dad needs more like political like figures on it.
I haven't seen that show in years. Is it like still any good? I feel like Seth MacFarlane would have ruined it by now.
He
can't restrain himself after a while.
The TBS seasons are kind of hit and miss, but they're pretty good. They're a bit more edgy, and if you like incest jokes,
that's the problem with like every show that he does. Like eventually, it just turns into like random violence and like mean-spiritedness.
Yeah,
and there's no like no cleverness or definitely none of that.
Yeah, there's like I've seen some episodes that genuinely made me laugh that I thought were you know they weren't too bad. It's pretty much just hit and miss. I mean what can you really expect out of a show that's been going like 9, maybe 13 seasons at this point? I don't even know. I mean,
That's true.
George,
Yeah, there's an expiration on any show.
I think so anyway. I mean,
You just can't let them keep going.
I mean, even the best shows. I mean, like 10 seasons. Like there's about.
Well, you know what show is still going strong is It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, it's that. I've heard
That's
rumors.
still good.
Yeah, that's good. There's some shows I think that can do it. Like The Venture Brothers is a show that I think every season of it has been good.
How many seasons of that are there?
Like 7, but
Okay.
But they don't do a season every year. Sometimes there's long gaps between seasons.
I think I've only seen through like season 3 of that, and that was a long time ago.
Season 4 is like when it starts to get really good, in my opinion. Like all the troglodytes think that's when the show got stupid, but they're retarded. There's a lot going on in that show, and it's like, I guess it's subtext. Like, I really like the Venture Brothers, so that, I don't know. Like, maybe, like, I don't know if it's like a nostalgia thing, and I was like 12 years old when that show was first on, and, watching Adult Swim at that age was kind of like, it was emancipatory.
I mean, Adult Swim is still making some of the best TV right now.
Pretty much. Like, they always kind of, like, even in the beginning, like, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, what a brilliant idea. Like, I wish I could have worked at that studio at that time and era. Like, you could have...
And
could have done a lot.
A show I just watched the final seasons of was Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
That show...
I hadn't watched, like, the last 3 seasons.
It's good.
But I recently watched them all the way through, and man, like, that show is still incredible.
That's the show. That's the show that went on for like 11 seasons and it didn't get you because it stayed.
It's like the defining show of Adult Swim too. It's like it's the archetype of their animated shows.
It set the tone.
Yeah.
Like
and the great thing about it it's not like lull random humor. It's all about like these characters and like their relationships with each other,
their rapport,
and how that plays out in just like these absurd scenarios.
Yeah, it is like that's the thing. Like just fucking Carl like the way Carl interacts with like Meatwad and Shake. The snappy dialogue, like I couldn't write dialogue like that. It's so I want to say natural or like organic or something. It's so I don't know. When Shake says, "I must not walk, so a child may live." Have you not ever felt like that? Or
Shake really. I've seen this pointed out before, but like Trump is like he's President Master Shake.
Yeah, it's the same character.
He really is.
Just an insane narcissist.
It's funny because I think we've all like known somebody like Shake at some point in our lives, especially as kids. There's a little kid that just like he has to have like the coolest thing.
Yeah,
he has to be like the best.
Yeah, tells lies.
Like, but he won't actually like do it. He just he has to pretend to be the best.
Yeah, he's the kid whose dad works at Nintendo.
Yeah,
and he's played the new Pokemon early, and it sucks. He's that kid.
He's found like the secret levels in GoldenEye that like have like nude scenes in them for some reason.
He knows how to catch Mew. And there's a new type of Pokemon coming out. It's called Iron.
Was that a rumor at some point?
Yeah, actually.
Well, somebody's probably made like an emulator of that.
No, there is.
I've never. What are they called? ROM hacks.
In Gen 2, there is a Steel type.
Pretty good. I've been kind of on like a semi-fast for the last week, last 4 days really.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get back to being like kind of skinny. So I've been eating like less than 500 calories a day.
Yeah, that's intermediate fasting.
Yeah. But like it's pretty cool after the first day because like you'd stop like caring about food.
That'd be nice.
Because like food really is an addiction.
I feel like it's, for me though, it's the drinks. It's the beer that I can't stop drinking. It's the sugary. Like I drink a shitload of water, but I also I'll get a soda, I'll get a Gatorade, and that'll be like in the same day. And I've been getting energy drinks in the past couple weeks, which I should not
Well,
get.
if you're gonna get energy drinks, you got to get the 0 carb ones.
Yeah, I guess I should, because it's not like I'm getting them for taste. Ugh.
And they got some good flavors out there. Although, like, I gotta say, honestly, in my opinion, like I don't drink a lot of them anymore. But
Hey.
like the sugar-free ones, the artificially sweetened ones, usually taste better than the ones with sugar. I don't know why.
Probably because you don't drink soda at all, do you?
Not. I mean, I will drink like sparkling water. I actually have a carbonation device that my
But
girlfriend got me for Christmas.
You do not drink Coca-Cola.
No, I'm not like I'm not drinking the Dew or
Right.
the Pepsi.
People drink that every day, and it changes. Like
I know.
sodas.
I used to drink like more soda than I do now. But,
Beer replaced soda, but I'll still have a soda.
Yeah, it is crazy though, like, because every like couple months maybe, like I'll be somewhere where there is just like soda around and like not a lot of other things to drink, like some kind of family function.
Yeah.
Or either at my house or like
barbecue.
Yeah. So I'll have like a Pepsi or something, and just like the first taste of it is so strange because it's like, holy shit, like you forget kind of what the sensation of drinking that is like. It's just super sweet. It's really thick. It's also really
it stings.
Yeah, it's really acidic.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is. But
it's like a cigarette.
It is kind of a nice like treat to have like every couple months.
Yeah.
Because it really is kind of a strange sensation and kind of a neat one in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like people drinking that every day, like multiple times per day.
Remember when
I don't know.
I'd get like 64-ounce fountain sodas like almost.
Oh shit, I remember that.
Every day.
Crazy.
I wish someone would have been like, "Hey, Levi," but I wouldn't have taken.
I feel like somebody had to have said that to you at some point. I'm sure Julie said that at some point.
Yeah, probably.
Because she was kind of mean.
It's okay. I deserved it. I was fucking horrible.
Oh yeah, you were actually too. You're a huge piece of shit.
I was under.
I think we were all pieces of shit except Nick. He didn't say anything. Husband Nick.
Yeah. Oh no, Nick was cool. In fact, Nick.
Yeah, he was. I don't know what the story is.
He could have
them.
He actually one time I was really pissing him off, flicking ice, and he stood up like he was gonna kick my ass, and I'm glad he didn't because he probably could have. And then later he texted me like, "Oh, Levi, I'm really sorry about all that. You know, I've internalized a lot of voices, and I kind of felt like the need to act out like that." And I talked to him about that, and I felt really shitty. Like, oh man, I need to turn my life around.
Yeah, you probably had it coming.
Someone probably should have kicked my ass.
Yeah.
It probably would have done me some
good.
I don't know.
Things worked out, so.
Yeah, it worked out. Like there must have been something good about me.
I mean, for you, not for them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, I don't know. I also think there's a point. Like, I think people. I don't really get upset at people for talking shit about me because I think people just need a vent. And unless you're like some sort of narcissist, you should understand that, not everything you do is going to be interpreted by people as good. And I don't know. Like, I think people deserve the right to talk shit about me. Like, I'm bad. And I just think,
yeah, I don't usually put that much thought into it, honestly.
Yeah, because like no one's. I mean, because most of the time people aren't thinking about you at all.
Right.
And because I'm always worried about wearing this Pokemon shirt I have to work. Like, oh god, I look like a fucking retard.
Well, like the most that would happen is like some like little kid sees you and they're like, "Whoa, that's cool."
Yeah, did you know that happened to me like 5 times? I went to
that actually. I went to Knott's Berry Farm with my girlfriend and her family recently, and like my girlfriend has a Pokeball tattoo on her wrist.
Nice.
And so like, yeah, we were standing in line for the log ride, and some little girl was just like, she thought it was like super cool, and just like wanted to like talk to us a bunch.
You guys are the cool couple.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Is it tough being like a certified cool guy?
I mean, I wouldn't know. Jesus.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I'm just into leftism and I play guitar and I self-produced my own
I've
album.
like
I don't know anything about
I have
being
no
cool.
like friends or anything here anymore.
Well, hasn't like everyone like just atomized completely into like a haze of having to work and do drugs or have kids?
Well, yeah, it's mostly that, but also just like I sort of like can't stand most of like that old crew of people.
Really?
The old like Nick's house crew of people.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, minus Nick. I like Nick, but
well, Nick's like the Conan O'Brien of Hemet.
yeah, I don't think he lives here anymore. I haven't like seen him
good.
or talked to him.
Good
in
for
months.
him. That town is.
I think his girlfriend is pregnant though.
Uh-oh.
So
Well, I hope it's not his.
his that girlfriend already has a kid from another dude, so
Oh, he's one of those, eh?
he's yeah.
My.
Oh, what's the word for that, Levi?
I don't.
It starts with
remember.
a C.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're not gonna be able to publish this.
No, there's probably like a chunk of like 20 minutes that you're gonna have to cut out, but
That's fine. That's less from the fucking. I should just have like the Hipsters of Hemet podcast, and we just like gossip about people we used to know in 2008.
yeah, a lot of those people. I just, you get up one day, you go to like the fucking
Coffee shop.
like now there's no coffee shops here anymore. Well,
Starbucks. But...
there's Starbucks. I do go there because my girlfriend works there, so I get free drinks.
Yeah, but
Actually, funny story about that.
Oh.
I made a spreadsheet of all the possible ingredients that can be added to a drink at Starbucks.
Why did you do that?
Because like when I go there, I will like roll dice for like 4 ingredients, and I'll just get that.
You're not cool. You're a fucking dork.
Oh, totally.
That's fun. I just roll dice for what my drink. That's actually, you know what? You should
It's
publish
because
that.
I don't
Sounds
care.
fun.
I don't care about like good things anymore. I don't care about experiencing good things. I care about experiencing like novel things.
Oh, okay.
So that's like the way to do it. Just get randomly generated drinks. I've had some like gnarly stuff too. I had chocolate lemonade.
Ooh.
Actually, like not. It had kind of a like, there was like a grossness to it, but it wasn't bad.
Huh.
Like it's a thing that you can drink and it's not bad.
Well, hot dog. Well, you could do like lemon and chocolate. I mean, because I've had chocolate oranges, so I mean, obviously it can work. I don't know. I just get the same thing. I either get the black iced tea or I get chai latte.
Both good choices. I love tea, so like unsweetened tea is my thing.
Dude, you know what I like about my Keurig machine that I have here?
Hey, you can just run tea or run hot water through it.
Yeah, and you can have an instant bag of tea, no bullshit.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's not like microwaving a bag of tea where you have to get like the water hot for like it's just the best. I love that Keurig. My girlfriend bought it for her mom for her birthday, and I use it. And it's pretty sweet, I have to say. It's not all bad living with your girlfriend's parents. It's bad living with your parents, with your girlfriend though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been 2 hours, and this is probably gonna be like an hour and a half podcast because I'm gonna have to cut out.
I feel like we need like some kind of segment to end on here. Do you have anything cool to talk about?
No.
Any kind of game or movie related shit?
No.
I got one more Sylvester Graham factoid. He was driven out of like towns by like bakers and butchers.
For fucking up everything, huh?
Because for advocating like a vegetarian diet and like milling and baking your own bread. So yeah, like he'd get like violent mobs against him.
Well,
just kind of it's funny when like people today are like worried about like Antifa or whatever like coming, where it's like
you're gonna get knocked
for like most of history, just like mobs were kind of just just how people reacted to everything.
That was the original democracy.
Yeah, no, it really was.
It's the mob. And in fact, democracy doesn't work unless you're willing to do mob violence against aristocrats.
Yeah, really, it doesn't, because like you gotta Woodmouse say, like, politics flows from the barrel of a gun.
Yes.
Yeah, like a vote is meaningless without like the willingness to like the willingness and like the power to like cause violence to the ruling class.
All government is completely useless without the threat of violence.
Yeah.
Which is why taxation is theft. Tell me, Jesse, have you ever been hit as a child before?
Oh Lord. Oh, he published a book recently, didn't he?
The Argument. Oh, is that a good Stefan Molyneux?
A what?
I'm working on a Stefan Molyneux impression because I want to make ownage videos about him. That's kind of my life goal. Is I want to.
I think you just need to get rid of like any like kind of bass in your voice because he has none. And then you just need to enunciate like really hard.
I know that guy is a.
And everything is like what's it called when you are like up at the end of your syllables?
You enunciate. Yeah, he went to like theater school for like 4 years. And
no, I will totally believe that. He speaks like a thespian for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing about Stefan Molyneux is I think.
And he has like a British accent. He has like a posh British accent, and he was born like fucking Quebec or something.
He was born in Ireland, I think. Or in England.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then when he was 6...
That makes sense.
Yeah, I know the biography of all these ANCAP guys because I listened to every goddamn thing they ever put out in high school because I was raging against the machine. But I, for some reason, thought capitalism...
I mean, I went through the same phase. I blame fucking our friend Johnny for like giving me loaning me an Ayn Rand book.
Fucking Johnny.
I feel like he is still like into that too.
No. Well,
I think he might be like in a small way.
Because there is like in every bad idea, there's always like that little bit of truth. Like there is some bit of objectivism that.
I mean, like everyone wants to like think of themselves as it's just motivational porn masquerading as philosophy.
Yeah. And then another thing is, it's like I can understand how coming from the Soviet Union and coming
like
out
the
of
thing
that,
is she came from like a pretty wealthy family. Like once the Soviets took over, like she suddenly was going to like these free like public theater productions and stuff. Mm-hmm. In fact, she was probably only as literate and able to read philosophy as she was like because of the public library system.
Oh, that's nice. And I don't even think that the Soviet Union was that bad considering the situation that they were coming out of.
It definitely had like some peaks and valleys.
Yeah, because I'm not going to defend the Soviet Union, but
had a rough start too.
But what you have to understand is that was in Russia, and Russia needs to run a certain way, or it's not going to be Russia for very long. Because the reason why
that place is so spread out too.
Well, the whole reason why Russia is so gigantic is because you need to secure the border regions where people come to invade you, because you're very easy to. I honestly think that the whole history, like, because you know why I think the reason why Western Europe was able to do so well ahead of, the Chinese, ahead of the Middle East, ahead of Russia. Russia wasn't beyond the Western Europe, but the Middle East and Western Asia and Eastern Asia definitely were. But the fucking Mongols destroyed everything, and I think if you put a map over the Mongol Empire and you looked up at a map of communism, of these sort of thoughts, and you'll see that wherever the Mongols were, these are places that were set back centuries. And that if
I never thought about that before, but that's an interesting point.
Yeah, and then when the Mongol tide went back because when the Khan dies, they have to go back because there's a very strict hierarchy, which is what made them so powerful in the first place. But you can't, like, this death machine can't run unless there's a Khan running it. And right when they were about to get to Europe and just fucking, rape the shit out of it, that's when they had to go back, because European armies, like a European knight on a man-to-man level could take a Mongol no problem, but the military coordination that the Mongols were able to bring to bear, and plus their openness to new ideas, which allowed them to integrate Muslim and Chinese technologies, made them just a league above every other faction at that time. And the Chinese fucked up real bad because they had allowed the Mongols to build the confederation that was eventually used to destroy the Chinese. Because a very stupid Chinese kingdom decided to help the Mongols against this other Chinese kingdom.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
that's like well, you know, they didn't have Civ back then, so they didn't know what was going to happen.
No,
they didn't have Sid Meier's Civilization.
Well,
to be like you know what's going to happen when like Genghis Khan appears, when that avatar comes up. It's like, oh shit, we got to take this guy out first.
Yeah, strangle that baby.
And then like the AI players aren't going to do anything, and they're just going to get wiped out.
Oh yeah, every time. Basically, whenever my empire starts to fail, I just conquer a new place, and I'm good for the next 30 years. This has been a good talk. Sure. I think we're gonna end it here. It's been about 2 hours and 10 minutes. If you want to,
we could. I don't know how much time or effort you want to put into editing these, but I'm down to do these regularly. I'm a fan of just rambling. And I don't have a lot of people that I can just ramble to. So
well, Jeff moved into a house with his girlfriend, so he's not gonna be able to make it here as much. So if you want to do these on a weekly basis and just do we might do hour-long talks. I mean, I hate to disappoint you, but maybe as we get better at this, we can be more focused and
just condense these down.
Yeah, to because I'm already gonna have to cut out a whole bunch, and then So, whatever.
Yeah, we really should prepare topics or something, though.
I guess. I mean, it's Levi and Friends. I feel like this is supposed to be a replacement for having friends. So if you're a lonely person, what I want this to be is something for you to put on when when you're at work or in a drive, so you can feel like you're not alone.
A sad, atomized, alienated subject of 21st century capitalism. You can come home, listen to Levi and Jesse just talk about shit. We're there for you.
We will be, except when I don't feel like doing this, because I'd rather play video games on my computer than render a YouTube video.
Yeah, because we're also alienated subjects, so we got to do what they call self-care. That's that's the Tumblr term for it.
Yeah.
For just not doing anything.
You want to do a whole episode just bashing the Tumblr left? I mean, because we'll probably get whole.
I feel like that's a really low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, but we're pretty low.
That's true.
I don't know. You know what? You're right.
It could definitely figure into something.
Well, I don't want to bash.
I don't want to make fun of people that have actual serious mental problems.
I kind of just want to.
But some of those people are just fucking narcissistic assholes. So.
Yeah, God.
I also don't know how prominent that stuff is anymore, because I feel like its heyday kind of crested in 2013.
Yeah, post Gamergate, everyone kind of got sick of that. Oh, hold on, I gotta take another piss if you want to keep talking.
All right. Well, I got nothing really to say without another person to talk to, but.
All right. Well, hold on. Let me take this piss.
All right. Yeah. Right now, I'm just fooling with. I got these Listerine strip packets, but they're empty, so they're just plastic casings. And I took them apart so they kind of look like tanks. So they're just kind of driving around on my desk. I think I have ADD or something. I'm trying to put them back together, but I can't.
Hey, Jesse, I'm going to wrap this up.
All right. I'll talk to you next time on what is this podcast called? Is it just Levi and Friends? All right.
Yeah, I cannot think of a good name for a podcast. I mean, that's what it is.
It's good enough.
It's Levi and Friends. I mean,
all right.
If you listen to the early episodes, there's a whole lot of struggles of me trying to think of a name. I wanted to call it like the Iconicast, but that sounded so.
Yeah, I don't know about it.
Yeah,
but...
it's just. They can't all be hardcore history. It can't all be El Chapo Trap House. It can't be all fucking Last Podcast on the Left. It can't all be Your Mom's House. It can't all be True News. It can't all be The Wrong Boys. Seriously Wrong. Great. Can't all be Radio Lab. Can't all be.
Well, now that you're mentioning all these like catchy names, I feel like that's more pressure to come up with one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe I'll think about it.
I know.
I'll try and think of some ideas.
If you could actually think of like a good name, you could be like a co-host instead of just like a guest host like Jeff was.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then it could be like a new No, I want my brand. I want it to be Levi and Friends. I want it to be my brand. We already have the RPG we made. Fuck you.
All right.
I need some intellectual properties here. I don't have any. Also, I
mean, it still might need a name. Whatever. It's your thing. I don't care.
I mean, because it's the point of it is. It is Levi and Friends.
Yeah.
But then it's also kind of like
That's
Garfield and Friends. I should call it Leafield and Friends. I hate Mondays. I also have an idea for like every podcast would have a different theme. Like I wanted to do like a whole episode that was like an NPR show.
Well, I just like
where I'd sit close to the mic and I'd talk like this.
Oh, you want to go like all like just meta themes?
Yeah, and then I would do like, welcome to fucking your one-stop place for all your alt-right white nationalist radio. Today we're gonna talk about how Muslim hordes are raping white women and. And then I do one like and I do like every type of podcast. I do like a meta sort of thing. And then I wanted to do one where I wanted to do like an audio sitcom because I have this running joke with Annika called Oh Babe, and that's our sitcom.
That sounds like a fun idea, just an audio sitcom.
Yeah, it's like I'd be like,
I could get down with that.
Yeah, you'd hear like a sound effect, and like the door would open. And I'd be like, oh God, what a long day at the Screens Factory. And then you'd hear like a ha 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 ha.
Yeah, some canned laughter.
Yeah, and the problem is like I have no idea how you get that shit.
It can't be hard.
Yeah, well, I was talking to someone I know, and he was saying like, well, you could get like a MIDI keyboard and. And a sound mixer. I might end up having to actually expend actual money to make something like actually worth listening to.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, if it's a worthwhile endeavor.
The problem is with me is I know that I'm not gonna like, cause like I'm a fat lazy piece of shit and I can't even play a video game all the way through without getting bored.
Yeah.
So if I spent like $200 on like a soundboard, I know I'd probably end up like I literally had to dust off my microphone.
Man.
I know, I'm a piece of garbage.
Well, I think the only reason I didn't is because mine's in a case, but...
Well, that's good. I probably should buy a case.
Your microphone didn't come with one?
Well, no. It's just like a condenser. It's a Yeti Snowball. Or no, it's a blue Snowball.
You didn't get a like bag or anything with it?
No.
Like one of those bags with the drawstrings?
No, I think they just try to keep the costs down on this sort of thing.
Oh.
So because it's a good mic for if I was going to record my SoundCloud raps, but
make songs about respecting the police. Have you seen that?
Oh no! I think I know what I'm going to put at the beginning of this podcast.
Like Baked Alaska.
Oh,
and like his friends had he was a SoundCloud rapper before he was a
SoundCloud rapper, but I didn't know he made rap songs about respecting.
Oh, dude, no, there's a YouTube video of their like rap song about respecting, like police and law enforcement.
I've heard libertarian rap. It's like, yo,
Oh,
the
God.
Fed's coming down on us. There's no justice. The money's not backed by gold.
I feel like there's probably at least one prominent rapper that is like a hardcore libertarian. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but
Well, there's a lot of like mainstream rap. It's all into like the Illuminati and shit. So I'm sure there is like
and then a lot of the songs revolve around just like accumulating wealth. So
Could you imagine if
although
like,
is that still like a thing in I feel like kind of that like uber materialistic themed rap music kind of crested in like the mid 2000s,
sort of?
because now it's all like there's a lot of like art rap and stuff.
Oh, well, also it's mostly about drinking fucking mixed drinks with cough syrup in them.
Well, that's just cool.
Yeah.
It's just a cool thing to do. I want to do that.
I'm pretty sure rappers gave that idea to my nephew. Drinking lean all the time.
Was he doing that?
Yeah. When he stole that car and crashed my mom's car, and they found all kinds of fucking.
What kind of cough medicine?
I don't know, but I don't know for sure, but definitely stuff you can pour into something.
Because DXM's where it's at. Everyone, like a lot of those rappers talk about like codeine, which is like an opiate. But you know what? That's boring. Like, talk to me about some.
Where can I get this?
Some mixed. Just go to the drugstore.
DXM.
Just check on the back of the bottle. Make sure it's got dextromethorphan in it.
And I just drink all that.
Well, you got to be careful because a lot of other stuff that they put in there is really, it's hepatotoxic, so it's not good for your liver.
So I should like mix it with like some vodka.
Honestly,
all right,
gotcha. If you can find, because there's stuff that only has, there's cough medicine that only has dextromethorphan and, God, I can't remember what it's called. It starts with the G, guaifenesin or something, but it's like a pretty harmless.
You sound like Dark Soul bosses.
Yeah.
Glexafin, the Unaltered.
So as far as syrup, like that's the way to go.
All right. Cool.
Just for the audience's knowledge.
For the 13-year-olds.
Yeah, I'm basically.
Yeah. When my 14-year-old nephew listens to this.
Yeah, I was a teenage cough syrup kind of person.
Aficionado.
But, what they do have that's better is just DXM only capsules.
And where you get that?
Just at like Walmart.
So I could.
Yeah, because it's Walmart, you don't even have to buy them. You can just steal them.
I know, you just go to the self-checkout.
But yeah, that's the way to go. They come in like child-proof like little jar. There's a bunch of them in there. Just some high-powered DXM. You can get really fucking high on that. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying like
you can.
How did we get into this?
We were gonna wrap it up.
Just talking about rap. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We were gonna wrap it up. I don't like the new generation of rap, but I never liked rap in the first.
Well, there's
place,
some good like art rap out there these days. Like, have you heard Open Mike Eagle?
No.
He's pretty good. Have you heard Milo?
Yabadoo Yapolis? No, I'm kidding.
No. Yeah, not that one. Just the one name. The rapper.
I actually had never gone. We really do need to wrap this up because I never actually got a chance to take that piss. Anyway, text me on the thing, and I'll probably have this up by next week.
All right, cool. I'll talk to you later, man.